Hello, welcome to another video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ollie. I'm working on my first book, which is called Echoes Reach. It's a fantasy story. For those of you that have been watching for the last couple of years or so, well, first, thank you. But also you'll know that I've set myself certain goals or certain deadlines, which I've blown right past pretty often. And I was beginning to learn my lesson because I decided, okay, no more impossible deadlines. I'm just going to work with the way that my brain works and get it done whenever it gets done. If you don't know, I also got diagnosed with ADHD a couple of years ago. So that explains a lot about me not being able to meet deadlines. But a couple of weeks ago, something happened. I don't know what it was, but I realized that I was pretty near the end of the book. And I also knew that we were going away a week later. So I just got this urge to set myself a bit of a challenge and say, okay, I'm going to use this week to finish the book. And so on the Sunday evening, what date was it? Yeah, on the 1st of February, Sunday the 1st of February, I decided, okay, I'm going to use this week, starting tomorrow morning on the 2nd, Monday the 2nd. I'm going to write every day and I'm going to finish this book. Because I realized I only had 7 or 10,000 words left to do. But I knew if I just really tried to focus and do the work, I could get it done in that week. So I set myself that challenge and I decided to vlog the journey. As you'll see, things didn't go entirely to plan. There were a few setbacks along the way. I got ill, which I will talk about. But yeah, I did record as much of this as I could, especially at the beginning. But as the work progressed, and especially after I went away, I didn't film as much as I would like, but I did capture some of the main moments, especially towards the end. I'm going to cut back now to myself looking fairly haggard on the 2nd of February, Monday the 2nd of February. So yeah, over to myself a couple of weeks ago. Okay, good morning. It's Monday morning, the first day of the week in which hopefully I will be finishing this book. I've just got up and gonna have some coffee, I'm aiming to try and do some writing this morning before I have to do any work. I have a meeting at 10, so I need to be ready for that. But otherwise, I have some time right now, which I should use to do some writing, really. I'm hoping I haven't bitten off more than I can chew for this week, because I only thought about doing this last night before I went to bed, because I was looking at my calendar and suddenly it all kind of lined up, because, we're going away next week and it would be so neat and tidy if I could finish the book this week. I should definitely get to 120,000 by Friday, but whether or not that ends up being the end of the book or not, I don't know, because the word count's just a guess. But yeah, either way, I'm going to stop rambling now. This is just checking in, Monday morning. Gonna make some coffee, gonna do a bit of writing before I have to do some work. So yeah, wish me luck. Let's see how it goes. See, I actually started this week with pretty good momentum. I made sure to go out the house quite a bit, to just change my scenery. Because I work from home, it's good to get out of the house when I actually want to be creative. And yeah, it was really working. So the beginning of the week, the first couple of days, was going really well. It's the next day, it's quite early. I've swapped my coffee for Lemsip because I'm feeling a little bit ill this morning. It's nothing too bad, but I just want to, nip it in the bud before it gets any worse. So yesterday was a good day. I started the day on 112,688 words. My writing goal for the day was 1,463 words. But I ended up writing 1,603 words. Because of where I am at the story and because I've sort of figured out what's happening at the end now, for the most part, I'm sort of finding that it's just kind of coming really quickly to me, like it's just writing itself almost. I can kind of just keep on going. The only reason I stopped yesterday was because I ran out of time. Yeah, but so far so good.
one day into the week so far. And yeah, going pretty well. I'm a little bit worried about time today. Obviously, I have my normal work to be doing, my actual paid work. But today we're also going out at sort of 4ish in the afternoon to go and see a film. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about fitting everything in and when I'm going to do my writing, because that's normally the time of day I would do writing. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. But luckily I did do over my word count yesterday, so if I do a little bit less today, that kind of makes up for it. Yeah, I'm going to aim to do my goal, another 1,400 words or so. And yeah, just try and keep this momentum going, really. But yeah, I need to get my work done as quickly as possible today and sneak some writing in somewhere. We're going to see Iron Lung, by the film by Markiplier, sort of 4ish this afternoon. So yeah, should be good.
Yeah, being ill in the middle of this week when I had planned so much was a real blow. It just sort of took all my energy, but I still kept going. I did still work, but not as much as I thought I was going to do. So that did set me back a bit. Okay, it's Sunday, so I'm feeling a lot better now. This week really did not go to plan at all. I'm feeling a lot better now. Even though I didn't film much this week, I did still make progress with the story. I'm quite close to the end now. I'm on about 116,000 words, almost 117, which is good. So about 4,000 words off my goal for the whole thing, which is crazy. So yeah, my plan today is to try and get back on track a bit. It's Sunday, so I have more time today to just focus on writing. So I'm going to do a couple of hours this morning, and then a couple of hours later on this afternoon as well. I think if I really knuckle down and focus all my energy on it today, I could make some big progress. I'm just going to get going and see what happens. We're going away tomorrow for most of the week, so it'd be really good if I could do it today. I don't know, I don't want to jinx it. I'm just going to get going. Okay, just done my first session of writing for today. It's going well. I finished chapter 26. I did about 1,200 words, I think. I'm currently at 117,405 words in total. Yeah, just going to take a little break and then try and do another couple of hours or so. I think there's only 2 scenes left in the whole book. I just finished writing this part, which is a really big moment of the story. It's weird because, again, this is one of those scenes that I've been thinking about for a couple of years now. And it's just really fun to get to actually write it now. So yeah, it's about 12:30 now, so I'm going to try and have a little break and then come back a bit later and do a bit more. If I can get to the end of the next scene, that'll be really, really, really good, because then I've only got the final scene to do. So yeah, I'm just going to see how much I can do. Okay, it's quite late in the afternoon, but I just have to get out of the house. So if I'm going to do more writing, I need a bit of a break from being inside. Done a couple of thousand words today. Need to do a couple of thousand more, at least. Yeah, sort of 4:30 on a Sunday. It's quite quiet. Yeah, just going to go and try and find some coffee and do a bit more work. So, yeah, getting to the end. It's midnight on Sunday. I haven't finished yet, but I wrote like 3,000 words today on the last chapter, and the ending is within sight. I really like how it's going. It's just sort of tying itself up. I've just been on a roll, you know. It's just the best when it's all coming together in your head, and you're just typing away and it's working itself out as you type. And it's almost like I'm reading the story and not really thinking about writing, if that makes sense. Whether or not it comes out as a quality book, I don't know, but it feels good to do, so that's all I have to go on. But I'm not finished yet. I'm at 119,136 words. So 850-ish words away from my goal. I think at this rate it's going to be slightly more than 120,000 for this draft at least. But yeah, I'm on the last chapter. Might be like a little mini chapter at the end, epilogue style. I'm trying not to think about the fact that if I hadn't been ill, I would have probably just finished this book. But hey, you know, you can't control when you're ill, can you? So I did my best. But yeah, we're going away for a couple of days tomorrow. and back later in the week. Yeah, then we went away and we had a great time. We went to a hotel and spa. One of the reasons why I wanted to finish the book before we went away was because I was kind of hoping that this trip to this spa would be kind of like a celebration for finishing the book as well. But yeah, obviously that didn't work out. Best laid plans and all that. But yeah, we still had a great time. And then we went to London, saw some friends. And then I came back and I was determined. I knew that I was going to finish the book. It was just going to happen. So yeah, Monday and Tuesday came and I carried on working. I just could feel the ending coming and coming. And yeah, and then Wednesday happened. I think I'm finished. Yeah, I just wrote the end. So I must mean I'm finished. I kind of can't believe it. It's 20 to midnight on Wednesday, the 18th of February. And I've just written the final line of the book. This is crazy. So obviously I didn't finish it in a week, but I think that was, now looking back, unrealistic, because it's always, no matter how much you know what's going to happen, it's always going to be longer than you think it is. Well, for me it is anyway. But yeah, something about today, I knew I was on the last couple of scenes, and I don't know, this afternoon I just started writing, and normally, I do between like 600 to like 1200 words or so, but today I did over 5,000 words just this afternoon and this evening. I actually did 5,221 words. I don't know what happened. It was like all downhill in a good way. It was just rolling right to the end, that all this momentum had built up, and I just ran for the end. It was like a sprint. And then I got to the last paragraph just then, and I was like, surely I've missed something. But then I went back to my notes that I'd been making about what I needed to include before the end. And no, I hit all the points, all the marks. I'd got everything in. Then I started the last paragraph, and I got this little rush. And I was thinking, oh my God, I think this is it. I could feel the end coming. Did the last line. I'm quite pleased with the last line. It sort of mirrors the first line. And wrote the end. And then that was it. I don't know what to do next. What do I do? The final word count is 126,309 words, which is about 6,000 words more than I thought, but it's right in the sort of range that I was aiming for. I feel really happy. I can't quite believe it's done. I think I need some time to get my head around it. I want to go through it now, but I know that's a bad idea. I feel like somewhere in the middle, I missed out a scene or something. I know there are some characters that need to go. Look, there's lots that needs to happen, but the story is down. The clay has been pulled from the earth, and now I just need to shape it into the final book. But I'm really happy with what I've done. There's lots to think about, but for now I'm just going to be happy with having gotten to the end. It's taken basically 10 years to write this book. Most of it happened in the last couple of years since doing YouTube. Yeah, a lot of my creative life has gone into this. And yeah, it feels really good to have written the end, basically. And tonight at 11:45, that's all I'm going to think about. I'm just going to bask in that feeling for a bit. Rosie's made me a White Russian to celebrate. And I think I'm just going to drink this. Cheers to the end. I actually finished it. Yeah, as you can maybe tell in that video, I was slightly shocked that I had actually done it. I've wanted to write my own book, in particular a fantasy book, since I was a kid. I was saying to Rosie, just after I'd finished it, I literally remember being 8 or 9 years old and saying to my best friend, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a fantasy book one day, like Lord of the Rings or something. And I thought I was going to do it by the time I was like 12. But obviously that didn't happen, and which is probably for the best. I did actually start writing a fantasy story called The Sword of Truth before I knew there was a book called The Sword of Truth. It might even still exist somewhere on a hard drive. I started writing it in like 2001, and I was like 9. But there we go. It's probably for the best that I didn't get finished. Anyway, oh my God, this is why I didn't finish it. I keep getting distracted. It feels like a really big moment for me because not only have I finished a book, which is like probably my biggest sort of creative dream that I've had, but also I actually finished a big project that entirely off my own back, which I really struggle with doing, especially now I know I have ADHD. So I don't know what comes next, but I'm pleased in this moment that I've actually done it, and I now have a book. Look, here it is. This is a good moment to show you this, actually. Rosie and I went stationery mad and not only printed off the book so I could like have a physical version of draft one, and also to edit it, but we also got like a big folder to put it in. So here it is. These are all chapter markers. The little pink slips are chapter markers. Yeah, big folder. Ooh, 411 pages, I think. There it is. Wait, I'm going to blur out my address, obviously. No offense. Here it is, title page. Ooh, ta-da. There it is. Can you see that? Yeah, it's quite unwieldy. Turns out 400 pages of A4 paper is heavy. I keep looking at this and just holding it. You know, the whole time you're writing it, it's just on your computer. And there's something about having it physically here in front of me that's just incredibly satisfying. Yeah, it's all there. I'm pretty sure, as I said before, there are some bits in the middle which I've missed out, but barely. Obviously, there's lots I need to edit. I need to go through it. You know, it's in some ways, this is just the beginning, really. But there it is. That's a whole story. The whole story's there. Now I just need to carve away, add some bits, take some bits away. But yeah, I can't believe it. Honestly, I don't think I could have finished it by now if I hadn't been doing YouTube. And I know my videos can be a little bit sporadic, but it really helped have some accountability with my writing, which was the whole point of doing this in the first place. I've been working on this story basically since 2016, so it's been basically 10 years. But what I had been working on for most of that time was sort of a first version of that story, which doesn't really resemble it in any way other than some of the character names and some of the ideas. Yeah, the seed was planted in 2016, and this version of the story I've been working on since maybe 2020, 2021. But most of the progress I've made in the last sort of 2 years or so since doing these videos. When I started making these videos in August 2023, I think it was, I had only written about 15,000 words or so. And since then, I've done over 100,000 words in a couple of years. So yeah, this has been really useful. And I'm definitely going to continue doing this for all my future projects. And as I continue to work on this one, because it's not finished yet. Lots more still to do. But for now, I am, as I said before, just enjoying this feeling still. What comes next is that Rosie is going to hide this from me. She's going to literally take this from me after I finish recording this video and hide it somewhere and not give it back for at least a week, because she knows I'm just going to be tempted to read through this and keep doing things. But I need to step back a bit and get some perspective, try and have a fresh mind before I come to it and read through it and start editing. But I wanted to mark this big milestone for me and for the story. And what's really encouraging to me is that I know that the next one that I write, which I'm already really eager to get going on, which I know I shouldn't, I know that that one will take a lot less time to write, because while I say it took 10 years to write this book, what that also includes is me learning how to write a book. You know, I really only properly figured out sort of how to do it in the last couple of years. While my process of doing that might not be the most efficient, it is, I think, the most effective for me and works with the way that my brain works. Basically, if you haven't seen these videos before, I'm what people call a pantser. I just write as I go. And I have some ideas as I'm writing of the mood and the tone of the story and how I want it to feel. And I also have some sort of waypoints in the story of things that I'm pretty sure I know I want them to happen. And so I have those two things, and then I just kind of write forwards and I just see what happens as I go. And that's what I've found since writing this, and since having that routine of writing, the most effective way of writing the story. I think that's maybe been the biggest surprise and the biggest thing that I've learnt writing this book, is that when you're drafting the first draft and you're writing that first version of the story, it doesn't really matter like what I plan, how much I plan, if I plan at all, or even if I just have ideas of what's going to happen in my head. It will always work out differently once I'm writing and once I'm in that headspace. Most of the time it works out for the better. And some of the best moments are when I read back a chapter that I've just written, even on the same day, and I'm like, where did that come from? It feels kind of like magic. But yeah, draft one of this book is finished, and what comes next is editing this, obviously, but also I'm going to start working on these short stories, which I'm going to post on my Patreon. So if you haven't subscribed to the Patreon yet, keep an eye out, because stuff will be coming up at some point in the medium future. Not right away. I'm not going to promise things, but I will be writing those, and they will be going on the Patreon. Those are sort of little vignette stories set in the same world as this one. So kind of not exactly related to this story, but tangentially connected. Is that the right word? But yeah, this is my big update. Draft 1 is done. I keep saying it, but I feel I have earned the right to keep saying it. I'm really looking forward to what comes next. And if you want to see what comes next, keep following along. Thanks to everyone out there for sticking with me for the last couple of years. Knowing that you're all out there waiting to hear the next update, it has really helped to pull me along in the writing process. If you've been working on a story for ages and you just can't make progress on it, try doing something like this, even if you don't post them online, just make little video diaries. Yeah, anyway, draft 1 is done. Okay, I'm going to stop saying it now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Draft 1 is done. Bye. I am currently 15,590 words in. I have a rough goal of about 80,000 words, but I don't really know. That's flexible.